Hey guys, welcome back to the High Homes channel. Today we're back with one of our expert talks with Miguel Manzanares, and we're going to talk about the things you guys need to know about before buying a property in Spain. Don't buy a property in Spain without watching this. Hey guys, welcome back to our expert talk. So we're here with Miguel from Manzanares. Welcome, Miguel.
Thank you very much.
So it's the first time you're on our channel. So for those that don't know who you are, don't know anything about Manzanares Abogados, tell us a bit about who you are and your law firm.
Well, I founded Manzanares Abogados by the end of 1995, almost 30 years. Wow. Basically two fields of specialization, property law and tax law. We've been always growing, and I always believed that specialization was going to be important, and even in the beginning I wanted to be the expert on both fields, and that is really why we were growing. With the pass of the time, we have become one of the largest and leading law firms in the south of Spain, but we also have an office in Ibiza.
Central.
Yes, and we treasure existing clients, live clients, not considering those that sold the property or those that passed away and left the law firm. More than 28,000 existing clients. So we have a proper big family. We have a kind of a town of full of clients, and and also we've dedicated our profession to property law and tax law. We're proud to be recognized, to have a good image and concept that is heard from other colleagues, which is really something that I feel very proud of, that my other colleagues have a good level of appreciation about Manzanares, but also notary offices, banks, developers, and every player in the market recognizes Manzanares. I want to believe in a good way.
We want to give our audience a bit of perspective and insights from experts such as yourself on buying in Spain, relocating to Spain, and so on. Today, we're talking about the things they need to watch out for. From a, let's say, due diligence perspective, I'm a buyer and I want to buy a property in Spain. Let's start there. What do I need to look out for when buying a property?
Before the due diligence, we have to do the reservation of the property. That's the way to make sure that that very property that you really like and most likely is the most attractive from a commercial point of view available is off the market. So we open up a process of due diligence with 2 weeks, 3 weeks time, sometimes goes to a month, at which we do searches in different areas. The first typical step is apply a certificate from the land registry. The land registry will have to certify that that property is owned by the seller, is fully registered according to the description and the details and conditions that we saw, and is free of any charges, liens, encumbrances, debts. Then we need to also check the legality of that property from the zoning and planning point of view. So we need to check what kind of license was granted, if there is a license of first inhabitation, so the property was finished and concluded according to the regulations and according to the license that was granted. We also have to check the community of owners for a number of things, to explain to our customer what kind of rules are governing that community, whether the short-term rental is permitted. And also we read the last few years of the community life, the AGM minutes, to be able to explain to the client what's going on at that community, if there is any particular point that needs some explanation. We also gather all the utility bills, water, electricity, etc., to make sure that everything is left up to date by the seller. And we go back to the client with sometimes a specific other searches have to be done. And then we go back to the client with a due diligence report, which is a summary of everything that we found out of those searches. And in conclusion, hopefully, is that we can buy the property with all regulations and all the legalities in place and the most safe way. That is the conclusion of, yes, we can continue with the deal, we can commit with the other party with a private purchase contract.
So, Miguel, What happens is you guys, look at different layers of the property, So you look at the land registry, you look at the town halls side of things, look at the urbanistic side of things, you look at the community side of things. So there's different dimensions to what you guys look into, right? So normally when you guys get let's say an incoming client looking to buy a property and it is subject to due diligence, you guys then start to get to work. Is there anything clients can do before bringing you the sale in order to, let's say, do some pre-work on a property?
Well, no, it's really quite difficult to say before they arrange a trip to Spain, because when they come over, they have to look at different properties, different options, and they don't know in advance which kind of property is going to be that very one that they finally liked and buy. There really homework to be done before they fly is that they have to bear in mind that they have to comply with strict legislation about anti-money laundering and compliance, and we're going to request 3 things. Number 1, the proof of identity. This is quite easy because the clients are flying over with their own passport.
Yeah.
Number 2, a proof of residency. Basically that the residency and the address that they declare to the lawyer is matching with the truthful address. And we can verify that with the utility bill, water receipt, bank statement with the address, something that proves that the address that I am telling the lawyer as my address is really in compliance with the utility bill. So bringing a copy of utility bill, it will be a valid point.
Okay.
And then the third point will be the proof of income. So sometimes it's quite easy because they have a salary and consequently you have an income tax declaration and a few copies of salary pay slips. That is quite simple. In some other cases it's more complicated. I would say really don't complicate too much. Wait until we have a meeting with the lawyer, and the lawyer, according to your personal circumstances, will guide you about what to put together and bring it to Spain.
Would you think it's advisable for someone that's looking to move over and buy a property in Málaga, buy a property in Barcelona, wherever? Do you think it's a better idea to get in touch with the law firm before buying a property, or do you think it sort of naturally comes in once you find the property? What's your thoughts on that?
I think it's always better, much better, to have a first dialogue with the lawyer before coming over. Because nowadays people have to identify which is the best way to become owner of a property in Spain from a tax point of view.
Yeah.
To learn about personal circumstances and discuss what is my intention about the property, renting out the property for the whole year, renting out for a portion, and then enjoy the property. The property price sometimes have to be analyzed from every angle, wealth tax and other points. So setting up a meeting with the lawyer, discussing your personal circumstances, discussing what kind of level of budget you have, and then this is very, very helpful. In fact, I find many clients that they are not really prepared emotionally to look at properties until they have first meeting with the lawyer.
Oh, wow.
Because with the first meeting with the lawyer, they need to know, okay, at least I know that this is going to be in my personal name, in me and my wife's name, or me and my daughter's name, and from income tax point of view, it's going to be like this.
Yeah.
From inheritance tax point of view, it's going to be like that. I have no wealth tax problem. Everything has been carefully studied, and I am prepared to look at the properties. But because all the clients, they start touring and looking at properties with all those questions marks up in the brain, in the mind, that are unresolved. And therefore, it's always better to have this conversation before.
That makes total sense. And so the next thing I would like to sort of talk about with you is, as you know, I'm Spanish and I've been born here. I just know this real estate market. But for the last, so many years, I've met clients from all over the world, and I get this question, and it baffles me when I get it, right? But it's in our clients, it's in the audience's mind, so I'd like to talk about it. And it's freehold versus leasehold. You have countries, in the UK, around the world, where you actually buy a property and it's not freehold. Could you give our audience an overview of how property purchase and ownership works in Spain? What do you actually buy?
Well, Spain in general is all freehold. We do not have a civil code with a system of leasehold. So you pretty much have to say that Every single property you buy from the north to the south, islands, everywhere is freehold. There are some times that you specifically have to establish institutions that are leasehold, but this is not really common at all. This is very extraordinary, and it will represent maybe 1% of the properties, or maybe less.
So 99% freehold. Yeah. So on this topic then, so let's say someone in our audience comes over to Spain, wants to buy a property, right? So they first get in touch with a law firm. Let's talk about, let's say people don't like paying taxes. So where are we when buying a property in Spain? So I want to buy a property in Malaga, for example. What do I need to add to my equation? Property's worth 100 or 500. How does that work?
Yeah, that depends on the region of Spain that you buy the property. In Spain, we have 17 different regions. All of them, they have the autonomy to regulate how what we call transfer tax, which is equivalent to stamp duty. So our transfer tax, when we have a resale property, is 7%. In addition to that, you have to bear in mind around 2%. That 2% will cover a notary, land registry, and lawyers, right? So that's really a kind of estimation of, I need to put on top of that 9%. If we are not buying a resale property, but a new property, off-plan property, in addition to every payment, you have to pay 10% VAT. So that's for the PPC, for the private purchase contract, the deposit goes with the 10% on top. If there is a payment in the middle, stage payments, 10% on top. And then every payment of the price, 10% VAT. Once we go to the final conclusion of the deal, closing, completion, you have to pay to the state government of Andalusia 1.2% stamp duty, and the other 2% that I was mentioning before about the three institutions of notary, land registry, and lawyers, right? So putting them all together, in conclusion, they will pay 10% VAT, 1.2 stamp duty, and the 2 other percent will cover the notary, lawyers, and land registry.
Okay, so one of the topics which I would also like to add into this conversation, which I think is really interesting, is people talk about the purchase costs, right? And you'll find online all these opportunities where you'll see, off-plan properties which are very well priced and whatever. People talk about, the purchase costs, but rarely talk about exit costs when you sell a property, right? And I think that's very interesting, especially for a lot of clients which are buying, on the construction of plan, in our case, or people which are buying resale properties. What would a person, you've lived, say, your Spanish dream life, and you've decided that the apartment you live in now, or the townhouse you live in now, is too small and you want to buy something that's bigger, right? What are the tax implications on selling a property in Spain?
Well, it will be a capital gain tax. The capital gain tax has 2 tax rates, 19 and 24%. 19% is for the European Union citizens, and 24% is for the non-European citizens, right? So that is really not a tax, but a retention, or somehow a portion of the tax that you pay in Spain. When you are tax resident in Holland, you are tax resident in Italy, the capital gain tax is going to be one chapter of your income tax declaration at your very country. Your accountant is going to do your income tax, and he's going to bear in mind everything that you did in Italy and everything you did overseas. And therefore, he's going to bear in mind that you sold the property in Spain. But you pay that 19% that you have paid in Spain is not the definitive tax. It's something that is fully accountable for your income tax declaration in Italy. So therefore, you say, okay, I paid capital gain tax to the Spanish government, 19%, and the rest, if any, that depends on which country you come from, is got to be paid in your own country. So therefore, this is really important. See, in the end, there is a general principle that every taxpayer has to pay taxes in that very country where you are resident at. But you can do international deals. You can buy and sell a property in any country. So therefore, normally you pay taxes in that very country, and depending on the double agreement taxation that you have, then is fully accountable or not. Spain is really, we can say, almost all countries is fully accountable. So therefore, 19% European Union citizens, 24% non-European Union.
For the people out there which are sold on the idea of buying a property in Spain, they might be worried about the transactional side of things, right? Which actually can be daunting if you don't know the system, you know, wherever you're from in the world. You know that you want a beach home in Spain, you want to relocate here. We have so many clients from the US, Canada, North America, Northern Europe that relocate here. You know what you want, but you're worried on the paperwork side of things and the transactional side of things. We've talked about the due diligence, we've talked about the taxes and implications. Is there any sort of recommendation you would give them in terms of other homework they could do before making that entire jump?
Well, first thing is really they have to grant a power of attorney because they are going to find the property, decide about that property and gonna leave the country, and we have to keep working on a number of things. Due diligence, but then after that, if everything is positive, we have to sign a contract on behalf of that client. If we have a power of attorney, we can legally sign that contract on behalf of the client, and we can even attend final closing, final completion at a notary office on behalf of that client. We can only do that if we have a power of attorney that has included those faculties around buying the property, pay the taxes, and so on. So cool. that power of attorney, we recommend is easier, quicker, and very much cheaper to be done in front of a notary in Spain, because with the cost of around 75, 80 euros, you leave your power of attorney done in Spain at the very same time that we have a meeting with the client. We have our law firm in the second floor. In the first floor, we have a very convenient notary office. So it's just going down in 35, 45 minutes. We have the power of attorney done, and is in a very inexpensive, quick way is done. This doesn't mean that we cannot do the power of attorney in any other country. We have to find a law firm with notary powers, and then we will provide them our double column language power of attorney. They will have to sign in front of that notary the power of attorney, and that notary is normally in charge of getting the apostille from The Hague, which is a stamp that goes with the power of attorney that will recognize international validity of that power of attorney. This is a little bit more time and money normally that doing that in Spain. So therefore, we recommend to do the best to leave the power of attorney before they fly back to their own countries. Okay. That is one important formality. With this power of attorney, we can also do the application and obtaining the NI number. NI number is a tax number that everybody that buys a property in Spain needs, and is provided by the police station. Police station has one specific department of administration that provides for the Spanish people NIF, and for foreigners NIE. And this is something that, again, we can use the power of attorney to apply and then pick up 10, 15 days after the NI number. But they don't need to do that, because if we get the power of attorney, we can do that on behalf of the client. The third formality that we can also facilitate having the power of attorney is a bank account. They need, everybody that buys a property in Spain needs a bank account. And we recommend not to use the bank account for the transaction itself, because it will be a brand new opened bank account, and then it will be expensive to receive the money, to produce checks and so on. But you need to have a bank account where you pay the water, electricity, taxes after you are owner of that property. And that is really the bank account that we need to open and put some money to cover the ongoing expenses of your brand new property. A bank account can also be done with the power of attorney. So the three formalities that I've mentioned are power of attorney, NI number, and bank account. But the second, NI number, and the third, bank account, can be done by us on behalf of the client using the power of attorney.
Actually, for you guys, just a quick message. It always surprises us that over 60% of our viewers are not subscribed to our High Homes YouTube channel. If you want to stay posted with content just like this one, expert talks, playlists as Costa Insights, property tours, and information about Spain, Málaga real estate market, don't forget to press that button, subscribe to the High Homes channel. We're going to keep you posted with the best of the best. And of course, if you have any questions about topics just like these, comment them below and we are reading you. So we've talked taxes, we've talked fees, we've talked transactional items, but
And many boring things, but
no, it's not boring, it's important, but like I'm gonna give you a high homes tradition,
Yeah.
right? This is called rapid fire.
Okay.
Okay, so these are people to get to know you
Yeah.
a bit more. By the way, we're gonna put your website, Manzanares, in the description of this video. So if you guys wanna visit Manzanares and have a chat with them about buying a property in Spain, I'm gonna throw some questions at you and you have to choose one or the other, okay? Your preference. Are you ready?
ready.
Fast, huh? Okay. Tapas o paella?
Tapas,
Jamón serrano o croquetas?
jamón serrano,
Marbella o mijas?
Marbella.
Cabo Pino o Porto Banús?
Cabo Pino,
Pilpil o espeto?
pil pil,
Sangría o tinto de verano?
tinto de verano,
Gazpacho o salmorejo?
salmorejo,
Sardinas o calamares?
calamares,
La feria de Sevilla o de Málaga?
de Sevilla.
If you had to choose just one Spanish dish to eat every day, what Spanish dish would that be?
Ensaladilla rusa.
Whoa, perfect. Miguel, thank you for being on the channel
Thank you very much.
and thanks for watching, guys. Hasta luego.
Adiós.